Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Shakopee Chamber Podcast. My name is Tim Zunker, and I'm the interim president for the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. 2020 was an extremely difficult year for many of our businesses, but none were hit harder than those in hospitality, travel, and tourism. As we start to see a light at the end of the tunnel, we are very excited about our attractions being open and travel coming back to Shakopee. This week, we are going to chat with Kelsey Megard, PR and Communications Manager with Valleyfair, about their plans for opening and what a trip to Valleyfair will look like this year. Kelsey, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Let's get started. So Valleyfair's opening date is May 22nd, which is exciting for not being open all of 2020 due to the pandemic. From a personal professional standpoint, I'm absolutely thrilled that Valleyfair is going to be open. We missed out last year because my daughter was tall enough to go on some of the bigger rides, which she hadn't been previously, but now she's tall enough to go on most of the thrill rides. So I'll have a ride partner basically to go on the rides this year. So I'm excited. She loves the big rides, and everything like that. So that's great. But please tell our listeners information on how opening will look this year and what park guests should expect.
Yeah, that's so exciting for your daughter. I'm very happy for her. If there was one benefit to 2020 and not being open, it was, we gave those kids another year to grow a little bit taller so they can get on some of those bigger thrill rides. I know everyone always wants to get on Wild Thing. Like that's like the crowning achievement is when you're finally tall enough to ride that one that you've made it. So I hope you and your daughter have a blast coming out here this summer. Of course, with Valleyfair opening on May 22nd, we are so excited. We're so excited for Minnesota families to come back to the park to start making memories. I can't wait to hear people screaming on rides again since it's been over a year. It'll be music to my ears. The park is going to look a little different this year. And I think the first thing that we should talk about is that it will be a big part of that will be because of capacity restrictions. So everyone who's going to be visiting the park this year will have to make a reservation just so, that way we can, control the amount of people that we have in the park at any given time. It's very simple to do. You can do that online or on our website. So if you had a 2020 season pass or if you had a ticket from last year, all you need to do is log in onto our website. You can put in your ticket number and pick a date and a time that works best for you to come to the park. So that'll be the first of, the big changes that you might see at the park this year. Another one will be, due to state guidelines, we will be having a mask mandate. So, we will require all guests to wear a mask while they are in the park. The only time that you don't have to wear a mask is if you are sitting and you're eating and drinking, or if you are on a water attraction or in a pool. Like, for example, if you're swimming in the wave pool, we won't require you to wear a mask at that time. Another thing that might look a little different this year is when you arrive at the park, you will just have to do a health assessment. This is going to be very similar to any health assessment that you take if you go pretty much anywhere. Our security and safety folks will just ask you a couple of questions like, have you had any COVID-19 symptoms over the last week or two, those type of things. So that might just, it might just look a little different from the park. Just once you're inside the park, a couple of things that have changed, we will have social distancing markers in all of our different ride queue lines. We have set up, all of our dining locations, tables will be a little more socially distanced as well. And we've added so many hand sanitizing stations throughout the park. So, if you can't for some reason make it to a washroom, that's not going to be a problem because we will have hand sanitizers everywhere for you to use, which I think will be really great. We're really excited. It is going to look a little different, but I think it's going to be still really fun. We're just excited to get back to, creating thrills for all of Minnesotans.
No, that's awesome. And it's exciting. And I think people understand things are going to be a little different in the short term. And, it's just after 2020, it's just awesome that you're open. So that's outstanding.
Yeah, I totally agree. We are so thrilled to be opening again. I feel like all of us who work here at the park, and I can speak for myself especially, we felt like we were kind of sidelined in 2020. We kept hoping and hoping that, capacity restrictions might change and that we might be able to open last season. And unfortunately, that was not the case. But the upside to that is that we have so much energy and we are so excited to get open that, 2021, it's going to be a great season, even if it looks a little different than normal.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you're right. It's going to be great. All right, great. Thanks, Kelsey. We receive a lot of national survey data through U.S. travel and other entities. Much of that data shows people want to know what safety precautions entertainment venues and destinations are taking for their guests when they are making travel decisions. Please give us an update of everything Valleyfair is doing this year regarding guest safety, which you did kind of touch on a little bit about the hand sanitizers and everything else. But if you go into a little more depth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's a great question. And of course, it's top of mind for everyone right now, with the environment that we live in. What most people might not know is that Valleyfair is actually a part of a larger amusement park system called Cedar Fair. And last year, a good majority of the parks for Cedar Fair got to open. So the COVID-19 policies and procedures that we have in place here at Valleyfair have actually been tested and proven to be really effective at parks all around the United States, which I think is really exciting. I can speak from, personal experience. I actually last year, since we didn't open, I got to spend time at two of our sister parks, Worlds of Fun down in Missouri, and then Cedar Point in Ohio. So I got to see these policies and procedures in place. So I know that it does really, really make for a safe environment. I think, the biggest thing that we have talked about is, social distancing is so important, especially, in an outdoor venue. So like I had mentioned, we will have social distancing markers in all of our ride queue lines. I think that's just a really great way to make sure that people, are aware of where they're at. It's just a good visual reminder. The good thing about Valleyfair is that we are such a large venue and we are outdoors. So it does make us naturally able to social distance a little better. Walking on the midways, there's going to be tons of space, especially with the limited capacity. Other things, that we had talked about before, we will require guests to wear masks while they're in the park. I get the comment all the time on social media. People are like, hey, do the masks actually stay on when you're on a roller coaster? And again, from experience, I can say that they absolutely do. If you're worried about the mask inhibiting your roller coaster ride experience, I promise it does not. It stays on. You're going so fast, you kind of forget that you're wearing it. It doesn't hinder the experience at all. We'll have hand sanitizing stations all throughout the park. And then, I would also encourage guests to download our mobile app. People are always asking what rides are open or how long are the lines for these rides. All of that information can be found, day of, up to date throughout the day on our mobile app. And I think that's a really, really great feature that will help, improve the guest experience overall.
Perfect. And speaking of the mobile app, maybe you could clarify, when you make reservations, one of the party has to have the mobile app on their phone, or?
We do encourage that at least one person in your party has the mobile app. We're really trying to switch everything to digital, which a lot of places are doing. So we encourage guests to use the mobile app because you can store your tickets and your passes there digitally. That way we don't have to do any handing of physical tickets. And then again, we also encourage guests to use some form of cashless payment while they're in the park.
Okay.
It's not a requirement, but we do encourage, you can use Apple Pay, you can use Google Pay, credit cards too are an easy way to, avoid contact with our associates.
So I guess you could say at least one good thing out of a lot of negative things that came out of the pandemic is businesses moving forward with digitalization and different things like that and making those things easier or better. So, I mean, it's great that Valleyfair is moving towards that. And I think it'll be welcomed by a lot of the people that are attending.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, that's one of the areas where we've definitely worked to improve over the years. And then 2020 was a great time to optimize that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had mentioned before, if you're looking to make a reservation, you can do that through our mobile app. You can do it on our website too, but if you want to do it on the app, all of your ticket and reservation information will just be stored right there and you'll be ready to go the day of.
That's awesome. I will have to give that a try. I booked online yesterday for opening day, but I did it all through the computer, but definitely put the app on there and do that. So awesome. Thanks, Kelsey. There are still some unknowns about how the entire season will look at Valleyfair. However, you already have some new and exciting things scheduled to happen. Please share with us some of these fun things you already have planned for this season.
Awesome. Okay, so before I jump into what's new for this season, I mean, the stuff that I'm going to talk about is still new, but we had so many awesome projects that happened during 2020 just because we had an extended off season, so we were able to do a lot of like renovations to food buildings. So some of the things that guests will see when you first walk into the park, we had a Coca-Cola refresh station. That has been totally redone. It has a longer queue line. It has two sides. That's really going to increase throughput, especially at that spot. So I think guests will really appreciate that. Also, when you're towards the front of the park, our front gate and Route 76 bathrooms were renovated during 2020, and they look amazing. It's like I compare it to like when you go into a really fancy hotel and you use the bathroom and it looks like a spa. That's what Valleyfair bathrooms are striving for now, which I think is a really great change that people are really going to appreciate. As you kind of move through the park, our old Dinosaurs Alive building, we actually renovated that, and that's a small event space now. So if you're looking to host a private event at Valleyfair, we now have this new beautiful building called Lakeshore Landing, and it's perfect. It's like right across the midway from the Wave and Corkscrew. So if you wanted to host a meeting or an event in that space, you would have all the thrills that are going on in the park along with a private area just for you and your group. Another improvement that we made throughout the off season, our corn cart actually got redone. And we're going to be doing all sorts of different flavors of kettle corn this season.
Oh.
I recently just tried the birthday cake kettle corn, which I have never had in my life before, and it was delicious. It was so fun. So I think that'll be really exciting for folks to see. And then this season, we have so many different things going on. I'll keep going on the food train since that's top of mind right now. We recently renovated our Depot Refreshments building. It's now branded as Minnesota Eats. And if you remember from 2019, we would bring in different local Minnesota restaurants and they would take over that building for a month. So we're going to continue with that throughout this season, which I think will be really exciting. We'll be announcing who those restaurateurs are on our website and social media channels here shortly. So keep an eye out for that. It's just a great way to try different, food from all over the Twin Cities at Valleyfair throughout the season. So I think guests will be really excited about that. But then the biggest of everything that we're excited for is at the end of July and in early August, we will be hosting Grand Carnival. It is a larger than life cultural celebration. It has a parade, a street party, all sorts of food and live entertainment. A couple of our sister parks have done this event and it is absolutely amazing. So I'm really excited to bring that event to Valleyfair. I think, families are going to absolutely love it. There's just so much going on. It's so beautiful, bright. And we're really excited because we were planning on debuting this event in 2020 and it all got postponed until this year. So we're really excited to bring that event to Valleyfair.
No, that's great. Thanks, Kelsey. And yeah, we were excited back when you announced it last year and we're like, wow, this is going to be a great event. This is going to be exciting and just something new. And yeah, it got pushed, but it's great that it is coming here in 2021. So that'll be awesome.
It will be awesome. And I mean, this is going to be the biggest event that Valleyfair has ever done. Like, I don't think anyone, who's a regular Valleyfair goer has ever seen anything like this at our park before. So I think it's going to be a really wonderful experience.
No, that's great. That's exciting. So it'll be fun to see that. Definitely. So I know we have gone over some of these things and some information about park opening, different things like that. But what are some best practices and tips and tricks for someone interested in enjoying a day at Valleyfair in the current climate?
Yeah, in the current climate, I would just encourage anyone before you plan your visit, I would always check our website. Things are changing so quickly right now with COVID-19 policies and regulations that you will always be able to find the most up-to-date information there. Second would be just to make sure that you make a reservation before you get to the park. you'll get a reservation time. So we encourage guests to show up when they, schedule their reservation. I always encourage people to sign up for early times, like, get here early in the day. There's so much to do. Like, you can spend the entire day at Valleyfair and you still will have not gotten to do everything in one day. So I would definitely encourage you to show up early, stay late. It's going to be a beautiful summer. So we're really, really looking forward to having people back in the park. Just some other tips and tricks. I always encourage people, to staying hydrated, especially in the summer, is really important. So I always let people know we have water bottle refill stations around the park. I think a lot of people might not know that. So you can bring an empty water bottle to the park, and then you can just fill it up at any of those refill stations throughout the day. Just a good way to stay hydrated. And maybe it's me because I am a redhead, so I am naturally afraid of the sun, but I always encourage people to bring sunscreen or a hat. You're going to be outside on the rides all day. You'll be in the sunlight. So we always want to encourage people to protect their skin. Oh gosh, what are some other tips and tricks? A good tip is when you first get here, I always say, go to the back of the park first. Like, start at the back and work your way forward if you kind of want to avoid the crowd or any lines. That's a great way to make the most of your day.
No, that's great. That's actually, as a seasoned veteran, a season pass holder for years, I never really did that. We always went to Route 76 first. So good tip. You always learn something new and best practices and different things like that. So yeah. No, that's great, Kelsey. Thank you so much. I'm going to kind of lay out a caveat here with all of this, is that we recorded this podcast on May 4th. It's going to launch on May 6th. Current restrictions being as kind of how we followed this podcast, but things are likely to change. And as those things move forward, I'm glad that you laid out to continue to check your website, Valleyfair's website, continue to check social media for Valleyfair, just for those updates as capacity limits change, as things start to open back up, similar with Valleyfair opening up following those guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, things are changing so quickly. The governor is due to make an announcement at the end of this week, which, could potentially change capacity restrictions. So, that would change things for us, which we're excited for. Of course, we want to be able to bring more people into the park. But yeah, like you mentioned, just be sure to check our website or our social channels before you visit, because that's where we will have the most up-to-date information.
No, perfect. Thanks again, Kelsey. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Look forward to seeing you on opening day, and we hope to see your listeners in the park this season.
Yes, definitely. I'm excited for opening day. It's been a while. So 2019 was the last time I was able to go to Valleyfair. So I'm excited. And I'll bring it up again. My daughter's thrilled. She loves thrill rides. And I'm excited for that because I don't have anyone else really to ride with in the family. So being able to bring my daughter on those rides is outstanding. So we're excited.
Oh, that's going to be such a fun and special moment for the two of you. I can't wait. I'm excited for you.
Yes, I'm especially excited for her. She'll love it. So especially going on Wild Thing. She can't go on Steel Venom yet, but
Steel Venom, you got to be a little taller, but Wild Thing is a great start.
It is. And we're ready for it. So thanks again, Kelsey. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you next time.